Yes.
James, we're on. We're live. We're recording.
Modern technology.
What about that?
Isn't it something?
So welcome to episode 5, September
14?
14th.
Yep.
Not even sure the day. Um, September 14th. Beautiful day in Hollywood.
Are you in
Uh,
Hollywood,
yeah.
Florida?
No,
Oh,
no. I'm in a remote location on the famous 30A on America's fantastic Gulf Coast.
okay.
Crystal, sugar sand beaches, crystal clear water.
Well, there you
I
go.
don't know. That's what
Yeah.
they say.
All
So,
righty.
so I thought today, being that we are separated by time and space, actually not time. Well, we are actually. Uh, you're an hour in the future.
That's right. It is great this far ahead of time.
Is
Wait till
it?
you get wait till you get to that next hour. Holy
I mean,
cow.
I can't wait. It sounds great.
Oh yeah. Everybody's getting along. Oh, it's fantastic.
I mean, things have drastically changed in the next hour.
Oh, you better believe it.
Well,
Uh,
good. Um, so there's probably going to be some extraneous noise from my location because apparently the Apple AirPods pick up everything. Uh, Seagulls, fighter jets. Um, there's some crazy dude down here at the beach we saw here a few years ago. I've tried to avoid him for 5 days now. So far
well,
so good.
so far so good.
So I thought since this is kind of where I am at this time, is I thought we might discuss like a little topic about like your favorite. We could back and forth on favorite travel locations.
Okay.
Uh, you know, family traditions, maybe places you happened upon that were unexpected, that were cool, things you thought would be cool but maybe weren't. Um,
Okay.
we had I had promised on social media that we'd have a podcast on Tuesday. Well, that didn't work because um, I traveled out and didn't get back to any place where I could actually sit and talk for 30 minutes.
Well, you're the first person that didn't come through on a promise on social media.
Really, is that the first time?
Yeah, yeah. It's a flawless, it's a flawless medium.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yep, absolutely.
So to tell you what we were doing Tuesday, we decided to drive out. So we're like real estate. Uh, we just buy real estate everywhere we go. This is a lie, but there's a certain amount of money that we might be able to spend on real estate. So we're looking at beachfront property. And we
Okay.
found some property down this place called Port St. Joe. So there's a bay to the east of 30A called St. Joseph Bay or Bay of Joseph. Anyway, it's pretty cool. It's down near Apalachicola,
Okay.
St. George Island. So we thought we'd ride down that way. Well, it's a completely different beach scene. It's on the bay. It's not the water's not clear. It's the brackish bay type water.
Right.
So Tammy's like, I don't care if they're giving it away. I don't want to. And anyway, but we stumbled upon this place called the Stump Hole, and it's like there's like a place called San Blas, and it's a point on that peninsula, and it's super cool. All these old trees, stumps that are projecting out of the water. I guess where the beach has eroded over years. Um, so it turned out to be a pretty cool little destination. However, it was like 3 hours from where we're staying, one
Right.
way. So
It's called Stump Hole.
yeah, it's called the Stump Hole.
Well, that's pretty charming.
It was really cool. I saw pictures of it, and it looked different. But they said Hurricane Katrina kind of ravaged that area, and there's a whole bunch of trees down and washed up. So it was all these downed pine trees and palm trees along the beach. But it was really cool. It's a different, whole different scene.
Okay. Well,
So
that's
that
neat.
was unexpected. Yeah. So what I know some of your family traditions with vacation and such. What is a place that you went that was maybe unexpected? You stumbled upon it was really cool. You didn't expect it to be there.
Uh, there's not a lot. I haven't done a ton of traveling in my day. I'd say the coolest place every year growing up, we'd go to Kiowa Island, just off the coast of Charleston. Um, there's, I mean, there's really cool place. There used to be really cool places there before it got bought up and commercialized, but where you could bike ride to. But the coolest place we ever happened upon was this little in Middle Tennessee, a little waterfall called Rutledge Falls.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Where's
it's
that?
right outside Tullahoma, Tennessee.
Okay.
Uh, it's privately owned, but the fella uh, allows people to come there and swim, and it's right on a natural spring, so the water's pretty cold, but it's beautiful there. And I always said if I ever happen to buy it, the first thing I do is shut it down to the public because
So
you've
no
got
one ever would be
yeah. I
able
mean,
to
I'll go
enjoy it.
there and I'll pick up tires down there, and I'm like, no, this guy he's done everybody a favor by it, but no, just places like that. I really haven't traveled a heck of a lot because I don't like flying. I don't like people in general.
Wait,
Uh,
people, flying,
yeah,
feet, mayonnaise.
yeah. So there's only been a few places that I've gone where something's been pretty cool like that. But what about you? You've traveled a lot more than I have.
Well, I mean, we've not traveled a lot, but we, I mean, typically each year we come to the Gulf. We've done that for, I mean, Tammy and I started doing that when we were dating, before we were married and before the kids. So
Right.
we always came down here. We've our destinations have changed a little bit because a lot like you, I'm not a huge fan. I like people, but on my own terms. I don't
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
like this guy that's down here. I'm pretty sure he's from Tennessee, so I've got my Tennessee hat on. And I've tried to avoid him because it's like a conversation starter for him. Uh,
Yeah. There's the
I mean,
rub. Like, I'd always get recognized for having Tennessee gear on, and people are like, yeah, we're from Nashville. I'm like, well, that's not really near where I'm
that
from.
doesn't count.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did talk to a guy, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Tennessee, go Vols." I was like, he's like, "Where do you live?" I'm like, "We live about 7 minutes, 7 miles from campus." He's like, "Oh, we live in Memphis." I'm like, "Well, that's a whole different state."
Yeah. Yeah. So you technically live in Arkansas and Mississippi.
I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, technically yeah, but it's different."
Yeah.
Uh, but I would say, you're talking about the waterfall. Uh, one of the coolest places we ever went as a family was we went out to Colorado, to Denver.
Hmm.
And the first time that we had all flown together, this is probably about 8 years ago. And I tried to find, a cool place for the family. So I found this place called Paradise Cove. And it was a pretty good drive from Denver. Um, Long enough that everyone really questioned like where we were going. Uh, it was like in what they call maybe like the high plains area,
Right.
west of Fort Collins.
Right.
So we drove. It's probably 3 or 4 hour drive. Um, we finally got out there, and it is like not apparent. So you pull into this parking lot, and it's like nothing's here. But one of the funniest things when we pulled into the parking lot, Zach, we got out of the car and he said, "Hang on, guys. Um, I just want to let you know there's a skunk around here somewhere." And I was like, "Yeah, there's definitely skunk around here."
Yeah.
So that was funny to start. But then we hiked into this area, and you would have not known this place was there. This huge rock waterfall. I mean, it was amazing. It's pouring into this pool of water, these big, huge boulders. I mean, just like I said, Paradise Cove. I mean, you would have never known that thing was there. You couldn't find it unless you knew where you were going.
Right.
Um, but we had a good time there. I mean, it was beautiful, amazing. So these
Yeah.
natural spots, and I think you talk about waterfalls around Tennessee. There's many waterfalls within driving distance of Knoxville that are
Oh yeah. There's tons of them.
spectacular.
Yeah. There's great ones. But yeah, no, I recommend Rutledge Falls to anybody that's in that area. What in the world's going on over there?
Uh, you know,
Is that the Tennessee guy coming to get you?
no, I think it's I don't.
There
It's
you go.
this is this is the off season down here, so you got a lot of these elderly riffraff down here. These retirees
Elderly
have
riffraff.
got nothing else to do but have fun and enjoy their lives.
The nerve of them.
I know.
Yeah, yeah.
Got their dog and their straw hats, and
A straw
that's what
dog.
that's what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, like when we go bike riding at in Kiowa, we'd always there. I remember one time we found a watchtower that was right. You couldn't see it from the edge of the marsh, but I mean, you could see just this little figure. So then we were riding around the marsh till we found just a little wood plank pathway that was tiny, that was overgrown a lot. Probably exposed ourselves to all kinds of ticks, but that's all right. We walked all the way out there, and we're up about on a 200 foot tall watchtower. So you could see out to the ocean all around the marsh and everything. That was pretty cool. That was something that wasn't on the maps that we had. So that's something we found that was off the beaten path. That was pretty cool. Now
So do you,
it was derelict. I didn't know if we were going to fall to our death once we got up there. But,
yeah, but that's the best thing. It's like okay, we found this place. We could die
that doesn't sound like
exploring
the
this.
best thing. Well, that's that actually sounds like the worst thing.
Well, I mean, case in point, we went out again out west, and we went to Zion National Park. So a lot of people do thing that's called the Narrows, which is you basically get waders on and you wade up the river through this canyon, a narrow area with through the creeks,
Right.
and you could have flash flooding, you could drown, I guess, but typically they will tell you can't go because whatever. But so we went out, and I was like, we're doing what's called Angel's Landing, which is one of the most deadly hike in the national parks is Rainbow Falls in the Great Smoky Mountains, because people fall up there and get killed or whatever. It's not like it's because they're climbing on the rocks.
Yeah.
But Angel's Landing, I have never been so scared in climbing this trail. Um,
Really.
I mean, 1,000-foot sheer cliffs on both sides, and you're climbing up this rock pathway, and there's a cable to hold on to. So one slip and you're gone. So it's scary enough for yourself, but imagine having your wife and your two children there with you. And I'm
Yeah.
just I'm just envisioning, the worst, obviously, uh,
Absolutely.
but I mean, spectacular. Once you got out there, I mean, the adrenaline rush was amazing. Of course, we get out there and there's some girl standing on the ledge of the cliff doing some type of podcast or TikTok video. And I'm like, you could fall off. You're just standing right there dancing or doing something. was like, why would you do that?
Decrease the surplus population. I'd imagine
Is that what they say?
that's what Dickens said.
I mean, yeah, I think that was Ebenezer Scrooge that said
I guess if you want to draw that to that line, yes, but it came from Dickens' pen, so or his
that. Dickens
quill,
did right.
for that matter.
I think there is something to that, but that's a whole other discussion.
Yeah, that's not what we want to delve into today for sure.
Hey,
But
so I would tell you that I forgot to mention that I did start the clock.
you did what?
I did start the clock on the conversation.
Well, there's one on the phone right now. I'm watching it.
Well, that's a different clock.
What do you mean it's a different clock? It's a clock.
Well, it's the time. It's the time on the full recording, but the discussionary time has a different amount of time. It's a countdown. It's not a count up clock.
I got you. I got you. But no, no. I mean, the only places I've really traveled. I mean, I've gone to baseball parks around the areas, and I've gone to
Mm.
away football games, and I
Well, what
remember.
did? Okay. Well, let's jump on that. So, I mean, I obviously have a story about baseball park and away football games, but so the parks you've been to? What's your favorite baseball park?
Wrigley Field.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to that one a couple times, and first time we ever went, I remember we were coming up out of the tunnel. We were running late, and couldn't find parking, and we were jogging up out of the tunnel. They were playing the Padres, and the first thing I see when I come out of the tunnel is Tony Gwynn at bat.
What?
Yeah, Tony Gwynn was at bat, and I mean, he launched a home run, and I think Tony Gwynn maybe had a handful of home runs. He was just a contact hitter, so I was able to see one of the Tony Gwynn's few home runs right off the bat. Then at the seventh inning stretch, I was like, Dad, I'm gonna go get something from the gift stand, and he gave me some money, and this is back when you'd let your kids run around a strange place without supervision.
I
And
mean, sometimes you want them to.
yeah, yeah. I went out, and by the time I came back, when I was waiting in line, I remembered, oh crap, Harry Carey's singing the seventh inning stretch, and I missed.
Oh no.
Yeah, the first time I went, I didn't get to do the seventh inning stretch with Harry Carey, so that was
Oh.
disappointing. Yeah, no. So Wrigley was a favorite stadium. I like Cincinnati Reds Stadium. I think it's a nice stadium.
Well, I mean, I've said at least for the past several years that we should get up there, see the Reds,
Oh, it's a
because
fantastic little stadium.
I've not been there.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a short drive that it's worth it.
I've
Uh,
been to, so I've seen the Rockies play. Saw
hmm
the Rockies play. I was at Todd Helton's last home game in Colorado. It was really cool.
hmm
We were sitting in the stands and looked to our left, and in the box next to us, Peyton Manning was there.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. So I was like, Tennessee in the house. We're
Yeah,
all here,
yeah,
all three of us.
you're gonna be the fellow we don't like when we're on vacation. What part of Tennessee you from?
Well, I'm from Knoxville, of course.
Well, technically, I'm from New Orleans, but I played at Tennessee.
Well, technically, that's right.
Yeah,
But we did get to see Todd. The Rockies gave him a horse as a
oh yeah,
gift.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so we've been to Wrigley a couple times, but I think the first time we were there was probably 2014, and I'm not sure. I mean, have the Cubs won the World Series?
By 2014,
Did they
yeah,
win it in 2014?
it was around there.
I
I
should
can't.
know that.
I should know that. I've been a Cubs
Well,
fan all my life, but
I mean, it does. I don't know that it matters, honestly, but I think that was the 100th year of Wrigley Field was in 14. That's why I'm thinking it's significant.
right.
Um, I do remember in 2017 we had gone to New Mexico. We went out. We actually flew to New Mexico on. Randy Boyd's private jet.
Well, there you go, name dropper.
And they were like, yeah, exactly. I thought I would drop that.
Yeah,
Um, but the pilot said, I'll be here the whole time you're here. I've got to fly back to Knoxville and fly Randy and his mother to Chicago because the Cubs are in the playoffs.
yeah. I mean, he was. I mean, he's part of that Smokies organization, so that's a Cubs farm league. So I'm sure he's.
Yeah, so that
Yeah.
was 2017.
Okay.
Uh, so um, Boston, we were in Boston in 20, 1999. Was it 99? 99. So I had this whole plan to ask Tammy to marry me. We went to Boston, and
Right.
I blew the whole week, quite honestly. I tried to get them to do the thing at Fenway, right?
Right.
I tried to get them to put it up on the board. Hey, will you marry me? And I called them. And I talked to a lady, and she goes, in her best Boston accent, which I'm not going to do, she goes, "Are you kidding me? You can't call like a day or two before and expect us to be able to do that." And I'm thinking, how hard would that be, lady? I was
well,
like, work with me here.
a couple things. One, we need to do a show about accents because I've got theories on the Boston accent that I'm not going to get into now, but I think I've shared that with you in the past. But
Yeah.
I had a similar situation like that. Um, Greg and I are in the medical field, and one of our clients one year, I had a buddy. Long story short, that was in the athletic department over at the University of Tennessee, and somebody knew about that, and it was a mother of one of our clients, and her daughter was I'm sorry, her son was going to propose to that at the time her girlfriend, his girlfriend, and we had a game. This is probably Wednesday of game week, and she said, "Jamie, do you think you can call your buddy and see if we can get up on the jumbotron and do a proposal?" I was like, "Well, all I can do is ask." Oh man, everybody went off on me over there in that athletic department that we tried to ask him. Are you kidding me? It's Wednesday of game week. There's not a chance we can get that up on the jumbotron. I was like, it's just a little proposal.
I
What's
mean,
it
come
gonna
on. What's it take?
wedge it in between your Food City commercials, people?
I mean, listen, we in our profession, we manage to squeeze people in all the time to do way more complicated stuff than putting some name up on a dadgum TV screen.
Oh no, they were wanting the camera on them while he's on bended knee in the stands proposing to her.
Well, I mean, that doesn't take long either.
I'd say it takes some logistics.
I mean, they're looking for material.
Well,
I mean, I feel,
by Wednesday, I think they've got their material squared away.
yeah, but they're always they pan the camera around. They always show the same dude or the same girl in stands like 10 times.
That's
They're
true.
not they're not working hard at that.
No, no, they're not. You're
They're
right.
really not.
You're right. I wanted them to get up on the jumbotron. I wanted to be able to pull that for them, but I failed.
Yeah. I mean, I completely screwed that whole adventure
So
in
how'd you end up
Boston.
doing it?
Well, I didn't really have a great plan. The plan was to do it. I just didn't know what I was going to do. So initially, it was I was going to do it at the Old North Church, where you know, legend has it that they signaled Paul Revere. You
Right.
know, and so we were doing the uh, history walk of Boston.
Yeah.
It's pretty long, and we were there in the spring, and it was like the hottest day on record in Boston. So by the time we got to the church, somebody wasn't having it, and so I was like, "This is not going to work out well." So that didn't happen. And then I tried the Fenway Park thing. That didn't happen. And then was going to do it at dinner one night, and we managed to see Frank Thomas out. Uh, the Big Hurt. Is it the Big Hurt?
Yeah, it's the Big Hurt.
Big Hurt. He was like in a yellow suit, like
The Big Banana.
it was crazy. Anyway, he ended up at the place we were eating or something, so that blew the whole thing.
So it keeps the scale keeps dropping. So what? You do it at an Arby's?
Well, somebody said I was chicken, so nobody wants to hear the word no. Um, but we were bound to leave, and we had the morning to do a few things, and we went out to the Boston Commons where they have the swan boats. Um, it was kind of cool. It's a pretty cool place, and so I managed to ask, and my bride now said, "I'll think about it."
That's what. That's how she responded.
Yeah, she was at that point. She was mad because she kind of expected it that weekend or whatever, and
Right.
anyway, she was mad. So I think it was a couple weeks later. I asked her. I said, "Well, did you think about it?" She goes, "I guess."
Is this what they call the fairy tale start to
Yeah, and that's how it became.
the? And the rest, as they say, is history.
Yeah, I mean, 23 years later, here we
Yeah,
are.
yeah, they did live happily ever after. So yeah, I guess yeah, it worked out. So,
Bliss.
well done, well done.
Yeah. So okay. So uh, football games.
Yeah,
Uh, so away football games. So we're talking about college games, I guess.
yeah. I haven't really done much in the NFL world. That's the coolest place I've ever been to. College away game was '99. We went to LSU. We lost in overtime, but the trip was just really neat.
Oh, down to Baton Rouge.
Well, we stayed in Nolens. We took a train out of Birmingham through Mississippi and into New Orleans and got some rented some cars and uh, ate some good restaurants. We ate at the Court of Two Sisters, which was supposed to be the Manning's home restaurant. You know what? I was It was is quote unquote a 5-star restaurant. I wasn't as impressed with that as the little dives down there. And heck, I thought the food at the Harris Casino was better. But
Well, I mean, aren't the dives usually the better
yeah,
stuff because
yeah,
that's where the guys that are like,
sweating
you
in
know,
their food and everything as they
well,
make
I
it.
mean, they've gone out on their own and they've
Yeah.
got some good stuff.
Oh yeah. But no, the atmosphere at the game was unbelievable. We met some people on Bourbon Street that were LSU fans that were going to tailgate, and they told us to look them up. And they literally had a huge cauldron making gumbo, and we sat down. We ate a ton of food. They were very hospitable. Now, when the game started, we were getting flipped off, and crotches were grabbed in our direction, and cups were thrown at us. But as soon as the game ended, everybody was fine again. I have nothing but good things to say about the people at LSU. Before and after the game, during the game, they were sleazeballs. Uh, but
Yeah. Well, my worst experience was um, probably at the swamp.
yeah, well,
Now I can't remember when it became the swamp because Spurrier created the swamp.
well,
He
let's be
created the name.
yeah, well, let's be honest. You know how in products will say established in a certain date.
Yeah.
Florida needs to have 1991. That's when they hit the football world. That's what I believe that was Spurrier's first year. Before
Well,
that,
and
they
then
were eggs.
I would have to I would have to say I'd have to look back historically to figure out when I was actually there. It would have been 90, 91.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Before Spurrier, they were eggs, man. They were terrible. Uh, but no, yeah, yeah. But in the swamps prime, there was not a worse place to go.
yeah,
Uh,
that was whatever year it was we were down there was like you were getting
Urine thrown on you, and
yeah,
yeah.
oranges.
I remember a family of five trying to run us over, and uh, a kid was poking his head out the back window, flipping us the bird as they were driving off. I was like, that's a child. That's doing that to us. And the
Well,
problem was back in the '90s, they would let at halftime
you go out.
they'd go to the Purple Porpoise.
Yeah, you could leave the stadium, go out, and
Yeah, and reboot, and then they'd come back in. So it was constant during those games.
it was
Where
really it was really a cool game. I'd have to look back at all that. It's hard to remember these things in context in the years.
yeah,
Um, but another bad experience we had was at Ohio State. We went up and went up there for our anniversary trip, and there was a home game, and we decided we'd go out and try to join the tailgating, which we did, and it was fun. But then at the bar afterward, not a good experience.
yeah, yeah. I can understand. Uh, yeah, one year. Now this was talk about a game that no self-respecting fan should ever go to. I went to back when my sister was at school at Vanderbilt. She went to that's where she went to grad school. Uh, we went there, stayed with her, and it was a year. I think it was. Hey, buddy.
They've got so it looks like there's somebody on a float that's floated way out, and there's
Are we witnessing a tragedy here?
well, somebody's really excited about it. I mean, the guy's on a float. Now
Okay.
another guy's swimming out to help him, which he took the long way.
Okay.
Now, there's a boat going right by the guy on a float.
Son of a
Now
gun.
there's all kinds of people wanting.
All right. Well, anyways, we went to Vanderbilt, and this was in the late '90s. Fulmer, we were still a top five team, I think, and we ended up losing to Arkansas that day, and I was pretty grumpy. So then my sister said, "Well, let's go to this Vanderbilt game," and Vandy was playing Kentucky. I mean, you can't go to a worse football game anywhere. And
Couple
and so it really lightened my mood because it was more comedic relief than anything. But then yeah, we went out to the bar afterwards, and I started talking trash to everybody, and then my sisters had to say like, "All right, that's it," because I think the entire bar wanted me to perish that night.
wait, and you had no allegiance to either team.
Either team, no, but I was feeling froggy that day because Tennessee lost. And so misery loves company, so I'm going to bring everybody down with me. So
Well, I mean, did both teams lose? Vandy and Kentucky both lost.
anytime either of them take the field, they both lose. It doesn't matter what the score is. The fans lose for having to have to sit through that.
Oh my gosh.
Uh,
Well, we're experiencing a folly of tragedy here. I think
well,
we've
it was
got
bound to, it was bound to happen sooner or later in Florida.
somebody on a float that keeps going further and further out, and we've got some young guy who decided to swim out without a float, and he's way the hell out. Wait,
Oh
I
man,
broke the rule.
what?
I broke a rule there.
What'd you do?
Cursed.
I don't know if that counts.
I mean, we're not talking about a specific location, so I think
Yeah, you're talking about out. He went way the hell out.
it's a descriptor. It's an adjective.
Not an adjective. Um, I don't know what you'd call that, but no. So yeah, that's it's kind of I think we traveled to Disney World, or which one's in Florida, World or Land?
Disney World.
Yeah, we did that when I was a little kid. Like you saved up box tops, and you're able to get free tickets, and yeah, we
Like
went down
post cereal.
post cereal, baby. Uh, And we went down there, and all I remember was being nauseated by the teacups. Uh, I think I turned into a sprinkler system of sorts on the teacups. But
Well, you could have went over to the TVA and I Fair and done that.
yeah, I was just speaking about that to somebody about how my memories of the fairs were purely vomit related, other people's vomit. So I haven't been back there in quite some time.
Well, this is Fair Week in Knoxville. We always travel away.
Yeah.
So our children have been neglected for 20 some years because they don't get to go to the fair.
Well, all they've been neglected from is the tetanus shot that would ensue from scraping your leg on some random ride that some carny set up in 20
Well,
minutes.
it used to be really good.
Did it?
I mean, I have fond memories of it, other than like losing money in the games where they would take advantage of you.
Okay. Before this thing ends, I will regale the worst story.
Okay.
There
You've
was a
got like
ride.
20 seconds.
Okay, no problem. I can do it. There's a ride that was fairly well known. I don't know if it's still there now that they've churched up the place, but called the Gravitron, and it was just technically a flying saucer that would spin around, and the gravity would allow people to turn upside down on their pads and all that. Well,
Yeah.
there's some teenage girls riding it, and we were teenagers at the time, so we're all flirting with all these girls and everything, and I noticed this one girl wasn't having a good time, and all of a sudden she upchucks as it's spinning, and I swear to you, the upchuck floated out in front of everybody as we all spun around, and it was a literal game of Russian roulette
So
with
you could
vomit.
see it and waiting for it
Yeah,
to.
yeah, and I made a pact with God that day that if I get hit by that vomit, there'd be no extent to the wrath that I would lay down upon that whole fair. And fortunately, when it stopped, they weren't elderly, but they were older women. Were the unfortunate recipients of the backlash of vomit, and so when I exited that, I swore never to return, and I
Yeah,
haven't.
so it's going to be the old people that get it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I don't return because I'm the old person now. I'm not going to return there and get
Well,
vomit.
I mean, I passed the ability to do any vestibular stimulation many years ago.
I can't either. I can't either.
I mean, unless I'm driving a $300,000 sports car, I don't want to be any part of any of that.
You see, that's because you're high class. I'm good with just a $150,000 sports car.
Well, I mean, that was stretching the breadbasket there, but
That's right. That's right.
yeah, just so you know, before we close, our situation here has evolved into fire and rescue is on the way. Now, I can hear the sirens, but I don't think they can figure out how to get to our specific location.
You need David Hasselhoff.
I mean, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. There's somebody on a float. They have literally floated out 3/4 of a mile. Now, one of the young guys that went out to swim out there, he is actually being brought back on a lifeguard paddleboard right now because
Exhausted.
I mean, instead of going up the beach and then swimming out, he swam diagonally.
Yeah, you got to approach it differently. Are the riptides still bad down there?
No, there's nothing going on. There's not a wave. There's not a wave one on this ocean, this Gulf right now. It's flat as glass. It's crazy.
Huh.
I can't really tell you honestly if there's anyone on that float. It is way out
That's something.
there. But I almost got afraid because there were so many people that were deciding to swim out there. It almost got ridiculous.
I'm telling you need David Hasselhoff and Pamela Anderson.
Well, I mean, if they were here, I don't think they would swim out there. They would wait for a boat because it's a float. Somebody's got a float. They're not like.
Then you need Patrick Swayze from Point Break. He'd get out there.
Well, he would just parachute up. out there.
That's true. That's true.
So, well, James, I think we can wrap it up. The sun's shining here and it's raining.
Well, see, I like this way. It feels more like a phone call than when I'm at the microphone, where I feel like I got to perform, which I fail miserably at. But I do better on phone calls.
You've done fantastic so far. I mean,
I believe I have.
I just want to give a nod out to our listener in the Czech Republic, whoever that is. We've exceeded the boundaries of the United States.
Well, it was about
Um,
time. This is one
uh,
thing I'm good at is foreign relations.
yeah, I was just surprised by that, the analytics on it. But let's hope it keeps growing. I think these conversations that we have are valuable to our world as a society.
Are they?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, if you say so.
I mean, it's good quality stuff.
I hear you.
But I guess I'll be back. I'll see you on Monday. Next week looks like a crazy week for me. I'm not really excited about a lot of things that are going to happen, but
Well,
we'll get through that. So,
yeah,
uh,
you'll be
just
okay.
appreciative of people who may want to listen, have interest in our nonsense, and I appreciate you for taking time out of your uh, professional bass life, fishing life. Good luck this weekend on
Going to the
Lake
chick.
Chickamauga. Chickamauga.
Yeah, I grew up. I'd always say Chickamauga, and I was impolitely told the other day that I was illiterate.
Well, you just need to remember the source of
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I do.
that. A man who is more judgmental and criticizes more than I do, which is a statement. Okay,
It is.
here comes the police. They're out
Oh,
on the water now, so they've got a little skiff with the lights on, racing toward this. So
criminally. I don't know what's happening there. Yeah.
I think I'm impressed by the response. It's been pretty good. Although if they weren't on a float, it would be over. So
Yeah, absolutely be over. But all right. Well,
I don't think they can find it. They're like,
what do you mean they can't find it?
I don't think they can find the float. Are they at the float?
You all have binoculars?
Oh no, we don't have binoculars.
How do you go to the beach without binoculars? I never travel anywhere without binoculars.
Well, I prefer to call them spy glasses, but we did not bring the spy
Wait a minute.
glasses.
Spyglass, if I'm not mistaken, is the top like the pirates use where they extend it out, right?
Yeah, that's the kind I like because I have
You just want to
monocular. I
no.
have monocular vision. No, no, listen, I have monocular vision because of my cataract surgery. So binoculars don't work for me because both of my eyes are different.
Are you sure you don't do it just because you like the whole action of popping it out like pirates do and holding it up?
It is a little dramatic.
Yeah, yeah. I would be overly dramatic about it, but
We did. There is a rainbow right now, by the way. So I think God's promise has been fulfilled.
well, it's the rainbow's not for the person on the raft. I think.
I think everything's fine.
Thank you. This is one of the most comfortable floats I've ever floated on.
Who is that?
I'm gonna say that's John May's brother. It could quite possibly be.
That's outstanding. Does he have a? Never mind. Um,
Yes,
well, heck, I guess that's about it, isn't it?
that's way beyond.
Yeah, I'm
That was
on.
good. So apologies to everyone who waited for the podcast on Tuesday. My brother specifically. But here we are. Things happen.
Yeah, we got to it. We got to it. I had to go to the play last night, so.
Murder on the Orient Express.
Yeah, yeah, and there was another murder. You would think people stopped going on the Orient Express after all this time if there's a murder every time.
I will never get on that train.
No, absolutely not. Especially if there's a Belgian detective on it, I'm getting right off because
Well, I
I'll
mean,
be
I think it's prerequisite for the train trip is
absolutely,
Belgian
absolutely.
detectives.
All right. Well,
All right, I will see you first of the week, and we'll see everyone here again next week at some point for another riveting episode of Green Light and Banter.
sounds like a winner. Hopefully, we'll hear about a successful rescue.
I think all's good here.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. All right.
Outstanding.
All
All
right.
right.
Well, see you on the flip side.
Yep. Later.